What would the end of the world actually look like? Not the heroic version, not the cinematic fantasy,
It's gassed and ready. I paid off the guard to go home, which is where I'm going to be in another 20 minutes.
but the slow, terrifying collapse of everything familiar. These films do not offer comfort or victory. They strip away politics, bravado, and ideology and leave only consequence. This is nuclear war without romance. These are the movies that dared to show the unthinkable, and once seen, they never truly leave you. Number 10. Miracle Mile, 1988. Miracle Mile approaches nuclear annihilation from an entirely different angle. There are no generals, no command rooms, and no geopolitical explanations. The apocalypse arrives through a wrong phone call in the middle of the night. One ordinary moment fractures reality, and everything unravels. The film follows a single character racing against time after learning that nuclear missiles are already on their way.
And his brother. Yeah, Bobby Seale, Dick Gregory.
What makes Miracle Mile so disturbing is its emotional intimacy. This is not the end of the world seen from above. It is the end of the world experienced at street level. Confusion spreads faster than truth. Panic infects every interaction. Society collapses in real time. Los Angeles becomes a pressure cooker of fear. Airports riot. Families turn on each other. People cling to rumors and false hope because the alternative is unbearable. The film captures how fragile social order truly is when the illusion of safety disappears. There is no plan. There is no evacuation that works. There is only chaos accelerating towards silence. The final act is devastating because it refuses escape. There is no last-minute miracle, no reversal.
It's gassed and ready. I paid off the guard to go home, which is where I'm going to be in another 20 minutes.
The missiles fall, the light consumes everything, the ending is sudden, brutal, and absolute. It feels earned because the film has spent its entire runtime showing how impossible survival would actually be. Miracle Mile is powerful because it understands that nuclear war is not just a military event, it is a human one. The terror is not the bomb itself, it is the knowledge that once the process begins, there is nothing anyone can do to stop it. Number 9. War Games, 1983. War Games is often remembered as a clever teen thriller about computers. That memory does the film a disservice. Beneath its accessible surface lies one of the most frightening depictions of accidental nuclear annihilation ever put on screen. The terror of War Games comes from how small the mistake is. No villains, no grand conspiracies.
Do you think they know that?
I believe we've made that clear enough.
Just a curious teenager, a misunderstood system, and a chain reaction no one can stop. The film presents nuclear war as a process rather than a decision. Missiles do not launch because someone hates the enemy. They launch because machines interpret data and follow logic without understanding consequence. The chilling brilliance of the story is its realism. During the early 80s, military command systems were increasingly automated.
All right, flush the bombers, get the subs in launch mode.
Human judgment was being removed in favor of speed and probability. War Games exposes the danger in that transition with brutal clarity. The NORAD sequences are deliberately restrained. There is no spectacle, no explosions, only blinking lights, countdown clocks, and exhausted officers watching systems spiral beyond their control. This clinical presentation makes the threat feel disturbingly plausible. Number 8. A Boy and His Dog, 1975. A Boy and His Dog presents nuclear apocalypse not as heroic survival, but as moral collapse stretched across generations. Set decades after nuclear war, the film depicts a world where civilization has not recovered, only mutated. The surface world is a wasteland ruled by violence, scarcity, and exploitation. Beneath it lies a false civilization pretending to preserve American values while practicing authoritarian cruelty. Both environments are equally broken. Survival has stripped humanity of empathy. What makes the film disturbing is its honesty. There is no rebuilding arc, no lesson learned. Nuclear war did not reset society. It corrupted it permanently. Intelligence survives without wisdom. Order survives without morality. The relationship between the boy and his telepathic dog becomes the film's darkest statement. Loyalty exists only where humanity has failed. By the final moments, the film delivers a conclusion so cold it recontextualizes everything that came before it. A Boy and His Dog argues that nuclear war doesn't just kill people, it warps what comes after. The world continues, but stripped of anything worth saving. Number 7. Testament, 1983. Testament strips nuclear war of politics entirely. There are no generals, no strategies, and no explanations. The bomb goes off somewhere far away. The rest of the film is about what happens after when survival becomes a slow negotiation with grief. Set in a quiet American town, the story follows a mother trying to hold her family together as the world disintegrates. Communication fails, supplies vanish, children fall ill, hope erodes one funeral at a time. The film's strength lies in its refusal to sensationalize suffering. Everything feels painfully plausible. Radiation sickness is portrayed without melodrama. Hair falls out, weakness sets in, there is no cure. The emotional devastation mirrors the physical collapse. The town does not explode into chaos, it simply fades. Civilization does not end loudly, it ends through exhaustion. Testament understands that nuclear war's true horror is duration. The blast is instant, the dying takes months. The film forces the audience to sit with that reality. There is no escape through action or heroism. Only endurance is no longer possible. By the end, what remains is not fear but sorrow. Testament is devastating because it shows that nuclear war destroys not only cities but the future itself. Childhood, continuity, memory. Number 6, On the Beach, 1959. On the Beach is nuclear annihilation imagined through absence rather than spectacle. The war has already happened. The bombs have already fallen. What remains is a quiet, doomed waiting period as radiation drifts across the globe. Civilization is intact on the surface. The end is simply approaching. Set primarily in Australia, the film follows people living with absolute certainty of extinction. There is no panic because panic has nowhere to go. The tension comes from time itself. Every conversation, every routine, every romantic gesture is shadowed by inevitability. The film's brilliance lies in its restraint. There are no ruins, no explosions. Cities remain standing, life continues, and that normalcy becomes unbearable. People attend concerts, fall in love, and plan futures they know will never arrive. Hope becomes an act of denial rather than optimism. The slow encroachment of radiation is treated as an invisible executioner. It cannot be fought. It cannot be escaped. Governments provide pills, not solutions. The end is sanitized, bureaucratic, and merciless. On the Beach argues that nuclear war's true horror is not destruction but certainty, the knowledge that everything will end regardless of behavior, morality, or sacrifice. The film leaves the audience with an unforgettable ache, the realization that the most terrifying apocalypse is the one that allows you time to think about it. Number 5. Fail Safe, 1964. Fail Safe is one of the most clinical and terrifying depictions of nuclear war ever committed to film. There is no satire, no relief, only inevitability. A technical malfunction sends American bombers toward Moscow, and the system designed to prevent catastrophe fails at every level. What makes Fail Safe devastating is its emotional severity. Every character understands the consequences. Everyone is intelligent, rational, and horrified, yet nothing can be stopped. The machinery of war moves faster than morality. The film unfolds almost entirely through dialogue and tension. Decisions are made in sterile rooms far removed from the cities that will be destroyed. This distance is the point. Nuclear war is shown as an abstract problem solved through logic even when logic demands mass death. The climax is among the bleakest in cinema history. A choice is made that preserves balance rather than life. The sacrifice is framed as necessary, not heroic. There is no victory, only symmetry in annihilation. Fail Safe forces the audience to confront an unbearable truth, that within nuclear doctrine there are moments when genocide becomes a rational option. The film does not argue against this logic. It simply shows where it leads, straight into silence. Number 4. Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, 1964.
All right, Mr. Osborne, you can take your readings now.
Dr. Strangelove is often remembered as comedy. That reputation masks how brutally accurate it is. Beneath the absurdity lies one of the most scathing indictments of nuclear deterrence ever created. The film exposes the madness hidden inside rational systems. Characters speak in polished military language while discussing extinction with casual detachment. Procedures override ethics. Ego overrides sanity. Technology removes accountability. The satire works because it is grounded in real policy. Doomsday devices, automated retaliation, and failed deadly safeguards were not fantasy. They were Cold War doctrine. The film simply pushes them to their logical conclusion. Laughter becomes a coping mechanism. The audience laughs because the alternative is terror. Every joke lands because it is rooted in truth. Nuclear war is revealed not as an accident but as a punchline written into the system itself. The final montage, accompanied by cheerful music, is devastating. Mushroom clouds bloom as if celebrating victory.
They might have the means of paying our corpse a visit.
The world ends not with horror but with absurdity. Dr. Strangelove endures because it understands something essential. When the fate of humanity is governed by systems that no one can fully control, madness becomes policy. and the joke is on everyone. Number 3. The Day After, 1983. The Day After shattered the illusion that nuclear war was an abstract strategic concept. When it aired on American television, it did not feel like entertainment. It felt like a national trauma unfolding in living rooms across the country. The film follows ordinary families in the American Midwest as global tensions escalate and missiles launch. What makes it so powerful is its gradual progression. Life continues. Weddings are planned, jobs are discussed, then warning sirens sound and everything ends. The depiction of the attack is blunt and unforgiving. Cities are erased in seconds. The sky burns white. Shockwaves flatten neighborhoods. The film does not linger on spectacle. It moves immediately to aftermath. Survivors wander through ash and ruins, unable to comprehend what has happened. Radiation sickness is portrayed with disturbing realism. Hospitals overflow. Supplies vanish. Authority collapses. The film shows how quickly modern society disintegrates when infrastructure disappears. There is no recovery arc, no rebuilding montage, only deterioration. What truly horrified audiences was recognition. These were not soldiers or politicians. These were people just like them. The Day After forced viewers to imagine themselves inside nuclear war rather than observing it from a safe distance. Its impact was profound. Public discussion shifted. Policy debates followed. The film became a cultural event because it removed deniability. After watching The Day After, it was no longer possible to pretend nuclear war was survivable. It was mass death, followed by silence. Number 2. Barefoot Gen, 1983. Barefoot Gen delivers nuclear horror with a brutality no live-action film could sustain. Based on first-hand experience, the film depicts the atomic bombing of Hiroshima through the eyes of a child. There is no abstraction, no metaphor, only memory. The explosion sequence is among the most harrowing ever animated. Bodies vaporize, skin peels away, shadows burn into walls. The animation does not soften reality, it sharpens it. Every frame feels like testimony. What follows is even worse. Survivors wander through a city turned into a graveyard. Water is poison, food is scarce, fires consume everything. The film refuses to cut away from suffering. It forces the audience to witness consequences usually hidden by history books. Barefoot Gen is devastating because it centers children. Innocence is not collateral damage, it is the target. The film shows how nuclear weapons erase generations, not just cities. Trauma becomes inheritance. Unlike many nuclear films, this one offers no political debate, no strategic framing. The message is experiential. This is what happened. This is what nuclear war does to human beings. Barefoot Gen remains one of the most powerful anti-war films ever made because it speaks with the authority of survival. It does not warn, it remembers. Number 1. Threads, 1984. Threads is not just the most powerful nuclear war movie ever made. It is one of the most brutal works of cinema ever produced. The film begins quietly. Ordinary life in Sheffield, news reports in the background, political tensions rising. Then nuclear war erupts, and the film never looks away again. Unlike other films, Threads does not stop at the blast or the first wave of suffering. It tracks the collapse of society over years. Language deteriorates, education disappears, medical knowledge is lost. Humanity regresses into a medieval existence shaped by radiation and scarcity. The scientific detail is relentless. Crop failure, genetic damage, population collapse, social breakdown. Everything is presented with documentary precision. The result feels less like a story and more like a forecast. There is no central hero, no emotional refuge. Characters exist to demonstrate consequences, not provide comfort. Children are born deformed. Authority becomes cruelty. Hope is extinguished methodically. Threads is devastating because it answers the question no one wants answered. What happens after nuclear war? Not weeks later, not months later, generations later. The answer is extinction by inches, a slow erosion of everything that makes us human. Threads does not ask you to be afraid. It makes fear irrelevant. After Threads, there is only understanding, and once understood, nuclear war can never be unseen. These films endure because they refuse fantasy. They show nuclear war as it would be experienced, confusing, sudden, merciless, and final. There are no winners here, only warnings etched into cinema. Once you watch them, the illusion of safety disappears, and that may be their most important purpose.